Hello, everybody. Hello. About to get started. Let me just check my mic. All right. All right. We're in. Just going to try to see if a few more people come in. But if not, we're going to start getting started shortly. Um, all right. This one isn't going to be too long of a live, but there's just so much stuff to talk about with what's happened in the last like week and people's reactions and the obvious censorship that's going to start. So I figured after I got that little message from YouTube, I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and go live and just talk about everything because it's all connected. Like I always say, it's all connected. So before we get fully started on even the censorship, well, like let's start there. Um, so you'll see my title. It's like I'm being censored. So this is not anything new. People get censored. We know, we already know 2020 what happened with that, right? And certainly one episode of mine being taken off of YouTube is nothing compared to certain people who have been banned off of the internet altogether. But tonight we're going to talk about yeah. What's up, Bobby Wald? What is up? Thank you for coming through. Yeah, they did this to me before um during 2021 with the jab rollout when I was like giving out mad information. I was giving out a lot of information about how it's made and like how your immune system works and everything. And I almost lost the channel. I had like 67 subscribers, and I'm like, bro, I'm about to lose this channel, and I haven't even begun to do with it what I really want to do with it. But anyway, um, I'm not shocked about what they do. We know what they do. I'm certainly not the biggest victim of censorship what happens with censorship. I mean, you have one person, I always bring him up, you know, uh, you have Nick Fuentes who can't even have a regular, I mean, can the man even have an email? I don't know. Like, we live in a country where you can't, if you say things that people don't like, they disappear you. It's unbelievable. It really is. Um, so yeah, it's just insane. So I want to talk about it all. So tonight, what's up, Divisive? Thank you for coming through. What's up, Cindy? Yeah, we know with the election coming, it's gonna go into overdrive, but with this war, they're already gonna start ramping it up. If I'm not mistaken, Jackson Hinkle already lost his whole channel, like permanently on YouTube. Why? So they're gonna ramp it up. So tonight's episode, I'm just gonna make the disclaimer one time, and I'm not gonna make it again. I'm tired of making disclaimers. I feel like what's up, GR? I feel like I don't feel like always having to sugarcoat things, to put padding around things. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it because there was a time in my life where I didn't do that at all. And not to be mean, but we don't have time all the time to sugarcoat something and make sure everybody feels good when they hear something. I'm a black woman in America who hears a lot of things that would be considered offensive, and I don't want anybody to shut up with what they're saying, right? I think everybody has a right to talk. I can have a nuanced conversation. I understand everything is not racism, so I just don't understand how come there are certain groups that can't understand not everything is anti-Semitism. I mean, we know what group that I'm talking about, right? So tonight, I am going to speak out loud, and here's the one disclaimer: I don't hate anybody. I don't hate any groups. I don't like seeing attacks, and I don't want babies to get hurt. Okay? The mere fact that I have to even clear that up for anybody is isn't is it's frustrating, and it innately puts me at a point where I feel like if I need to talk a certain way in order to get my point across, if I have to clear all that up first in order to talk, I just feel like no, I don't buy into that. I don't subscribe to that. I don't. Because again, I don't want anybody to hold their tongue for me. You should know that normal people don't want to see attacks, okay? But um something happened to me after 2020. You know, 2020, 2020 was insane for me. When me, a nurse, hearing 2 weeks to slow the spread, and everybody stay inside, stay at home together. I was like, this no, that's not how you cure a virus. What's going on? I felt like I was in a twilight zone. I felt like, where do I live? They were telling people to shut down their businesses. I instantly knew this is wrong, because that's not how you kill a virus, right? So from then, I said to myself, and then, obviously I did a bunch of research figuring out, like, the lies that were being told to us, the exaggerations, the fact that they were taking in people into the ER who were walking and talking and shoving ventilators down their throats. And I knew that there's nowhere in the world that happens, that is supposed to be normal. And I'm screaming out against it. And everybody's calling me the bad guy, too, by the way. I remember this at work with other nurses. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. How come they're doing this to patients? We know you can't just give a respiratory depressed patient some propofol and then you tell them you're going to put a ventilator in them and tell them that they're going to survive. People were saying to me, like, oh, you're no, well, that's what they have to do. Casey, why are you questioning it? Why are you questioning it? The doctors came up with these. And I'm like, you're supposed to question stuff. We're trained to question stuff, right? And of course, later on, it's like, oh, maybe we were wrong. Well, how many people had to die first before? Oh, maybe we were wrong. How many people had to lose their businesses? Kids didn't go to school. This country's never really going to bounce back from what they did. I mean, has it bounced back? Do we have a chance? I don't know. So after 2020, mixed with weapons of mass destruction, you know what I'm saying? And all of that, sorry, I'm definitely after 2020. My I'm almost uh my emotional switch, it's almost turned off. It is, because after 2020 I said nobody's ever going to get me on emotion again. Like, I'm not talking about on a personal level, right? Excuse me. I have to, take a little quick sip. Excuse me. But I'm not talking about like on a personal level. That's different. But the news is never going to just tell me something and then I'm just going to accept it without, without asking questions. I'm not doing it. I'm not. So I'm very cynical. I just assess everything. This is who I am now. This is who I am. And so that brings me to today. I'm like, listen, once again, I feel like I'm back in 2020. I feel like actually I'm back in 2001, 2002, where we were being thrusted into a forever war with Iraq. I remember I couldn't understand why we were going to Iraq in the first place. But I was like 18 and I was like, I don't even understand why we're going there. And I was like, I don't want to ask though, because I feel like everybody knows but me. And a lot of people didn't know. And there was all these stories told about weapons of mass destruction and everything else. And we were there spending all this money. We sent Americans to a country to do things. They saw things that they should have never saw. A lot of people died. And for what? And then when they came back, they were broken, mentally, physically broken. Right. And what did that do for us as a country? It didn't do anything good. So again, I say, I'm weary when I hear there's some sort of calamity happening somewhere. When I heard Russia acting up, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. The very minute I heard that last year, what was that, 2022? The very minute I heard that, check the catalog. You see, I was like, oh, no, no, no. How do y'all know that for sure? What are y'all doing to make them act up? These are the questions I asked. So on Saturday, there was an attack that happened, and it was a bad attack, right? And that's a shame. There's no excuse or justification for any kind of attack, but the footage that was coming out of this attack, a lot of it's been debunked, and you have huge conservative outlets that are promoting fake news media or just exaggerated news or whatever. So I went ahead and I put together an episode about this. I was like, let me put together some stuff so I can show people, like, these pictures are not real. Like, I mean, they're real, but they're not from today. They're from like 2015 and everything else. So I'm like, let me just put this together. And then in that video that they took down, I was talking about the girl, Shani Luke, who, yes, we saw a very bad image of them dragging her and everything. and sitting on her and doing all kinds of terrible things to that woman. But then they told us that they ended her, like, oh, she's been ended, and then that's it. And then all of a sudden they come back and they tell you, no, in fact, she's in the hospital. Get the story straight before you report it to me. So now when I make a video and I'm like, you know, I'm not saying, oh, okay, she's perfectly fine and normal. Of course not. But when I'm saying this, they already had everybody gassed thinking that this girl was ended. I don't want her to be ended, but people are working off of that. And then it's like, oh no, whoopsies, right? And the beheaded babies. That's another problem too. That everybody's hold on. Sorry. I'm so dry today. That everybody is pushing around these images, and they're images from like Mexico from 2015. So I make this video, and then guess what? Guess what? I get this email today. They took down the video. I said, of course they did. Of course they took down the video because they don't want people to even question the narrative. Okay. And this is not where it's at today. Like for me, it's not. I'm questioning everything. Yes, I am. You're not just gonna tell me babies beheaded, and it's not that I need to see it, but I'm look straight up. I live in a country. If I don't trust my own establishment, and I have people say to me, but it's being reported from Israel's defense ministry. They said it. I don't trust my own. Why should I trust theirs? How am I wrong for that? Why should I trust theirs? But it's okay. See, that's the problem with Americans. We're very comfortable with saying we don't trust our government, right? It's okay to say that. But if I say I don't trust the Israeli government, oh, how can you say something so horrible? Well, wait a minute. I don't live there. I don't know them. I don't trust my own. I'm not horrible for saying that. I'm an adult, you know? And I have a right to say that. I'm getting called anti-Semitic up and down. Like, I mean, I don't care. I don't care. I did get the mod things figured out real quick. I probably should add some more mods because pretty soon they're gonna derail the whole live or whatever. So let me do that real quick. Actually, no. While I'm sharing, because all right. So tonight we're gonna look at a couple clips of things. We have our own problems going on in America, and people are getting mad that you're bringing up America. I am seeing conservatives talk a certain way where I'm like, yo, man, y'all are tripping. Y'all are tripping. Like, what y'all don't get no action at home? Like, this war is making people act like this is a football game. Like rooting on certain type of atrocities. And when you bring up those atrocities, it's like I don't want to hear it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm not going to call Palestinians animals just because because it's the right thing to do. I'm not doing it. I'm not. Am I going to call terrorists animals? Yeah, but we also need to talk about how we got to this position. There's a reality about what's happened over there in Gaza that I didn't know about because I didn't care because I got my own problems here in America. But we need to start paying attention to it because a lot of that stuff, American establishment has their hand in it. I mean, it's just insane. So we'll start off. We'll start with sharing. First, I want to share with you guys. Let me just share with you just some comment that's already coming through my notifications because I criticized Netanyahu. Like, like, bro, this is insane. Like, why can I criticize Netanyahu? I'm not. We're just gonna talk about it today. Oh, there's a time and a place for who? Not for me. Hold on. Let me just make sure. Yeah, because here I go. Because Trump apparently, everybody's like, Trump also attacked BB. I said, but then, of course, and then who did they bring up? Nick Fuentes will be his national security advice. Like, yo, guess what? Nick Fuentes is an American. Okay, it like, oh, we have to cancel him out. He says bad things. Let's cancel him. What? So, Trump said that they were smart. Hold on, let me just see what Trump said.
We followed the whole thing, and about 15 seconds later, it was all over, and we did it. But I'll never forget that Bibi Netanyahu let us down. That was a very terrible thing. I will say that. And so when I see sometimes the intelligence, you talk about the intelligence, or you talk about some of the things that went wrong over the last week. They've got to straighten it out because they're fighting potentially a very big force. They're fighting potentially Iran. And when they have people saying the wrong things, everything they say is being digested by these people because they're vicious and they're smart. And boy, are they vicious because nobody's ever seen the kind of sight that we've seen. Nobody's ever seen it, but they cannot play games. So we were disappointed by that, very disappointed, but we did the job ourselves and it was absolute precision, magnificent, beautiful job. And then
What's up, Kat?
Bibi tried to take credit for it. That wasn't good. That didn't make me feel too good, but that's all right. So they got to strengthen themselves up. Room.
These people get mad. Trump attacked BB. I'm sorry, I didn't know that was your friend. I didn't know that BB live here. I didn't know. So then I said, so you know me. I'm like, why should I care if Trump criticized Netanyahu? What does that have to do with America first? Of course, everybody tells you, sure, you can criticize a world leader, but the reason Trump criticizes Netanyahu is childish. So what if Bibi didn't think Trump won in 2020? Neither did a lot of Trump's campaign staff. And so then I said, that's not the reason. Trump was trying to bring some sort of deal and resolution to this mess between Israel and Palestine. But Netanyahu refused to participate, even though he claimed he would. There's so much more to all of this. People don't collect their facts before they start making assumptions. Meanwhile, I couldn't care less if he's being childish in his verbiage. His actions proved to be very well thought out when it came to foreign affairs. We didn't see this kind of destruction under Trump, and he didn't let some weird virtue force him into picking sides. Again, I don't care how Netanyahu feels or doesn't feel. He doesn't live in America. You know what I mean? And people are, so now I had, of course, people just coming back and trying to go back and forth with me about this. And so now this is the last person. So, wow, looking at your post, it's obvious you're an anti-Semite. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, that's where I'm at with it now. Go ahead and call me. I don't care. 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 Y'all throw that word around so much. It's corny now. I told y'all to stop doing that. Just like when people throw around racism all the time. You're racist. You're racist. Nobody cares anymore about the word racist, right? I said, stop throwing around that anti-Semitic words, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism. If you have a thought that doesn't sound nice enough, I'm an anti-Semitic. Well, I'll take the label. I'll enjoy. I will go back to who I used to be. I'm trying not to be this certain person where I come off too hard. I pray about this. I really do. But like now I'm at the point where I'm like, yo, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. You'll never be good enough not to be called some sort of label. So call me an anti-Semite, whatever it takes for people to wake up and understand that we have problems of our own here. Um, there can't be a deal when one side wants to eradicate the other side off the face of the earth. If Palestinians laid down their weapons tomorrow, there would be peace. If Israel laid down their weapons tomorrow, they would be destroyed. No. You could tell me you don't know about what goes on over there without telling me you don't know about what goes on over there. Okay? We're going to talk about that today. We got a couple videos we're going to watch. This isn't going to be too long today. We got a couple videos we're going to watch. And we are going to talk about that because it's good to know the truth. That's the only reason. It's good to know the truth, right? And the mess that America created over there, not just America, the UK too. They were involved with it too. It's a mess over there. So we better know the mess that we created so that we could never let this happen again. I'm just looking at. Okay. Let me go back to the first. I want to start off with something with America, like, because while everybody else is going off about this war, I know what Tucker Carlson is doing. He's looking like, I live here, man. There's still problems here.
Nations are defined by the people who live in them. That is the most basic of all observations about the world. China is different from Barbados, and not just because of geography. Austria and Zimbabwe are both landlocked countries in the middle of large continents, but they are not the same. That's because their populations are different. If you have a country brimming with people who work hard, believe in Christianity and Western standards of fairness, and are willing, therefore, to settle their differences without violence, you will likely have a peaceful, prosperous nation. You will have Sweden 50 years ago, before millions of non-Swedes arrived. If, by contrast, you have a nation full of people, however friendly and cheerful they may be, who don't believe in any of that, who embrace tribalism rather than universal principles of justice, who think 40 hours a week is too much for a man to work, and who, for whatever reason, have low impulse control, then you will get a place like Congo, a country that has remained in a state of perpetual civil war since before most Americans were born. It's that simple. There's a reason the German sections of southern Brazil are affluent and orderly, while Amazonia is not. It's because of the people. This is obvious. No honest person denies it or has ever denied it. But in this moment of national madness that has gripped the United States, our leaders are pretending that none of it is true, although, of course, they know perfectly well that it is true. The result is a country, our country, that is changing faster than it ever has, but not through democratic means. Instead, by force, through waves of mass immigration that not a single American voted for. What's happening is a crime. It violates both federal law and the core precept of democracy, which is that citizens get to govern their own countries. This is election rigging on a mass scale, and it's fueled by anti-white racial hostility. That is not a guess. The people doing it say so out loud. They brag about it. They are criminals. They must be punished for what they have done.
He's right about that, because I'll call that out at all times when I see it. There's an anti-whiteism happening in America that is being allowed. It's being allowed. It's not anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? Like, it's being allowed in America, and it's not right. It is not right. There's an American erasure that's happening, and there's an anti-whiteism that's happening that is not right. And in this country, I have a problem with that, because I need my country to run smooth. We're all Americans. If you care about the values and you're trying to live that life, that prosperous life that God has blessed us to be able to live, I'm not going to promote anything that's going to break that apart. So I'll call it out.
In the meantime, it's worth knowing exactly what they are doing. This was the scene at the so-called border at El Paso, Texas the other day.
Watch this scene. Like, this is insane. I'm going to try to make it bigger. Like this, my StreamYard, it's just so stupid because it's like kind of doing something. See, this is in our country. They're coming in our country. They scream. They say, yay, we made it. When these people used to run and they were afraid to get caught, I cannot believe this. Look at this guy smoking a cigarette. Yeah, boy.
That's your country being invaded.
Invaded.
It will never be the same. Republicans in Congress, the Republican governor of Texas, do nothing as this happens. Democrats cheer it on. They know that America will soon be a one-party state, and they'll be in charge. Immigration is the reason. Todd Bensman joins us now from the border. He's a longtime journalist and the author of the new book, Overrun.
So I'm not going to go into the interview that he did with Todd, because this is going to be a quick live, just like a quick briefing of everything that's happening. But y'all saw that, right? Like, these people are running into your country and they say, yeah, boy, we here. Let me tell you something. I'm of Haitian descent. Okay. But my parents came in here legally. Okay. But we know the real truth. What's up, y'all? Let me get some shout outs real quick. Again, Divisive, thank you for coming through. Cindy, thank you for coming through. Cassie, appreciate you for coming through. Gorilla No Sweat, thank you for helping me with the mod. Bobby Wald, I know you in here. Today, can you dig it? Over 200,000 people in Israel have been protesting Netanyahu for the past couple of weeks. Yeah, well, if you say that, they call you a name. And a lot of people don't know that. And thank you, that Liberty Chick, for coming through. I appreciate you. But yeah, I'm of Haitian descent. So like I said, even though my parents came here legally, I know the stories of immigration. Like you don't want to get caught up by immigration. Back in the day, you didn't want to get caught up. These people, they don't care. They come running and they're like, yo, like they are running into the country. But I'm going to show you now the reaction of Tucker Carlson bringing this up in comparison to the focus on Israel right now and how Ben Shapiro reacted to it. It's baffling to me, though, like that this is okay. That, like, and okay, we're gonna get back to the immigration thing. We are. Let me just find that video of um Ben Shapiro and Tucker. Like it was just. I mean, mm. Oh Christ. And he is trending. He's been doing a lot too. Somebody really got to help Ben out though, because Ben is. I'm so sorry, you guys are seeing this stupid picture. I really didn't want to show this picture. No, let me try this again. There it is. There it is. It's only 20 minutes. I agree with Ben Shapiro that Hamas is terrorist. So why did Israel fund? Whoa, Emerald Robinson always coming with the real truth. Hold on, God, I am so sorry for these pictures, y'all. I might just have to. Oh yeah. Did I not like? What is this guy's name? Jesus. This guy, he put these pictures on the thing, and now you can't like get away from it. It's so annoying. Like, I hate that I'm not ready with this video. I know exactly what video I'm trying. Lord, goddamn picture. Sorry. Um, here it is. It's only 1 minute long. Oh my god. There's one that's like 5 minutes long, but all right, we'll do the 1 minute long one. We'll just go ahead and do it. Hold on.
To that because I'm a human being. But
sure.
And again, I want to add my voice to that because I'm a human being. But
sure you do.
You
sound very outraged.
The outrage among Republican presidential candidates was so much more intense. One of them took to a bullhorn and started yelling about it. I get it, but no one would think to do that about the 100,000 American young people murdered every year. And
because who are you yelling at? Who are you yelling at? First of all, people are on bullhorns yelling about drug overdoses and the open border all the time. All the time. What is he even talking about? What he's attempting to is minimize what happened in Israel. He's not attempting to maximize what happened in the United States. He's attempting to minimize, as though America can't walk and chew gum, morally speaking, at the same time.
Yeah, you see what he says? So because Tucker decides to worry about the land that he's on right now, it's already an offense to Israel. You can't talk like this, okay? Now is listen, hey, listen, American. Now is certainly not the time, okay? Wait your turn. Okay, we're not even done with Ukraine yet, all right? But just hold on after Ukraine. We about to get right back to you. Oh, Israel, you still got to wait again. You still have to wait.
Which is absurd. And those two things are nothing alike. I'm sorry, that is not alike. It is not alike for drug smugglers to smuggle drugs over the border, which someone then takes and shoves into their arm and then they die of an overdose. That is not the same thing. I promise you, it is not the same thing as a terrorist breaking into your home and murdering your children in their beds in front of you and dragging your wife off to be raped in Gaza. That is not the same thing. Pretending that it is immoral. It's a moral blight. It's idiocy. It's just moral stupidity at the highest.
You can't even get, God forgive me. Like, look, man, I get it, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm trying to lend some sort of grace to Ben Shapiro because, I'm trying not to go where I really want to go with it. But the fact is, Ben, like, he can't even get it out. Like he's so worked up about this. Like I know, I get it. You're seeing your people. Those are your people, and you're seeing them something bad happening to them, right? But again, and then it brings me back to the other side of the situation. Is you could say that about what Hamas is doing, and it is sick. If that's what's going on, is sick. But this has also been going on to Palestinians too. But when that's brought up, oh, here you go being a Palestinian sympathizer. And I'm like, dang, man, I got to be everything but just the person who wants to speak the inconvenient truth.
This level. Of course we should care about what happens with fentanyl. Of course we should care about, we should close our border. Have I been unclear about this? Of course America should have closed borders when it comes to this sort of stuff. I'm on the same side as Tucker on that. I just don't understand why he's not on my side when it comes to Hamas has to be wiped off the face of the earth.
But again, when did Tucker say he wasn't on? I'm pretty sure Tucker would love Hamas to be wiped off the face of the earth. What real human wouldn't want terrorism to be wiped off the face of the earth? Though if you are a Christian, you do understand that that's never going to happen. You should fight against evil. You absolutely should. But you do understand that this is the devil's playground. You definitely understand that part. But at the same time, why wouldn't he want that? What is this? But he's not on my side. What do you mean? What do you mean? Tucker is on the side of it's not side. He's worried about his country. And he wants Hamas wiped off the face of the earth, I'm sure. Is it not enough? I mean, for real. And then, like, I'm just, I'm baffled at the behavior of these influencers who used to believe in. I got to stop with this picture. I'm so sorry, y'all. Um, this is just, I mean, because it's insane that he even like, uh, and then there they go again. Listen to what Trump had to say.
Benjamin Netanyahu knows that he's got to take action and he's about to go into Gaza. Is his fight our fight under any circumstances? Do we have American troops in there?
We have to protect Israel. They've been, really a part of this country, the fabric of what we stand for. We have to protect Israel. There's no choice. And we have to do it. He has been hurt very badly because of what's happened here. He was not prepared. He was not prepared, and Israel was not prepared. And under Trump, they wouldn't have had to be prepared. Look at what we did for them. And we did that alone. We didn't do that with Israel. And you know what I'm talking about. We did that totally alone, not with Israel. And but they were not prepared. A lot of people are not happy with leadership in Israel.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
And then this guy, Chris Nelson, Trump is doubling down on stupidity as he always does. Why is he stupid? You hear what he said? Because Brian Kilmeade is asking about American troops in Israel, right? He has no choice but to say, like, we have to protect it. Like, and you can hear it in his voice, like, the inevitable will happen. It's going to have to happen. And so shouldn't he be mad? I like, is Mossad really as intelligent, like the strong intelligence agency or whatever, like as they say it is, the Iron Dome, like all that? Or maybe they've been lying to us all this time. Like, I don't know, right? I'm supposed to believe that they have all this strong, defense or, just at least these perimeters to make sure that certain things aren't getting in. And then on Saturday, everything wasn't working. I don't understand how that works. And so you don't think the man would be mad like he wasn't prepared? So now Americans have to get involved. And so how's that stupid for saying that? It's just too much. It's just too much. Absolutely insane. It is. And again, I say, y'all have to bear with me when it comes to this whole thing about I have to believe everything that's coming out of there. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't believe that people are getting hurt. I do believe that. I definitely, that's wrong and it's terrible. But I question everything. I do. We remember babies and incubators. I'm sure some of y'all are old enough to remember that. Babies and incubators. They said the Kuwaiti soldiers was coming in the hospital, taking the babies out of incubators and tossing them on the floor. And Americans said, we got to go to war. And then it was a lie. And why is Israel bombing Syria? So they got time to do, I'm sorry. Like, I go back to these questions, it's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. What's up, Hypnotic? What is going on? Thank you, Kenya, for coming through. Who's this? Poopa Chalupa. Thank you. What's up? Little Bullet is here. Appreciate you for coming through. I'm going to have questions. And like I said, I'm at the point where I'm with my questions. You could call me names. I don't care. I don't care. I'll take the labels. So I'm going to be that one conservative that takes the names and takes the labels and all that. Y'all not going to get any more discerned truth. Daily Wire is the biggest conservative network on just period, right? You think you're going to get any discernment from them? No, you're not. Ben Shapiro's sharing every picture he could get his hands on, and if you call him out on that, you're the bad guy. Earlier today, I said, get the phone away from Ben. I said, y'all, somebody go. I was like, somebody get the phone away from Ben. I said, for his sake. Somebody got mad at me. Well, why? But matter of fact, this lady, I want to, answer her. Nancy, that's her name. And she said, oh, why? Is he not intelligent enough or what? And I'm like, it's not about that. I said, he's looking at a bunch of images that's not good for him. This is time where he should be with his family. It's just too much. He's going through, that's a lot. oh well, you making assumptions from far away. And I'm like, I'm actually trying to be, and she assumed that I was attacking it, because you know what it is, people really think that you always have to just be on one side of the aisle. So if I'm on the right side of the aisle, then whatever Ben does is okay. I'm on the side of truth as close as I can get to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm I'm gonna just put this comment right here. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm on the side of truth as close as I can get to it, right? And the fact is, even though I don't agree with how Ben is acting, you think I want him to want to see him self destruct? This is not good for his mental. He can barely talk. He's like screaming. This is not the same thing. That's not good for you to be that hysterical. It's just simply not. It's you got to pull away from it. Take a deep breath. Pray. He has to, right? He has to. And so now, because I said that, I all of a sudden, oh, what's wrong with you? Like, damn, like what? And I said, I would hope somebody would pull me away. I would hope somebody would pull me away and say, hey, like that's enough. All right, I'm gonna take the phone from you. Won't you go ahead and take a nap? You need to get a break. I think that's human. So, anywho, um, that's the thing about when you have principle, you understand that everything isn't just this or that. You get it. So going back to our favorite, I just cannot believe the behavior of some of these people. I tried to bookmark like a lot of stuff, but of course Twitter's doing something too. Twitter been acting up lately. I don't know. I got to get rid of this picture. I really do have to get rid of that picture. Um, Hold on. Mind you, and then when a person doesn't get happy looking at all these bombs that are going to be leveled on a strip, by the way, that's no bigger than what? Not even Philadelphia is bigger than the Gaza Strip. Like, and you know that children are going to, like, they're going to die in mass. When you hear them say, and that's the truth, when you hear them say, get Hamas, that means all the Palestinians that are there in Gaza. I heard somebody, and earlier today there was a lieutenant talking about it on the radio show, and he was like, the truth is that there are going to be, casualties, that, you can't tell the good guys from the bad guys, right? That's what they're saying. And then it's like, but hey, you shouldn't have let those terrorists stay in. You should have got rid of the terrorists. Tell me how grandma I'm gonna get rid of the terrorists with all the. Tell me how grandma I'm gonna get rid of the terrorists who got rockets. How does that work? Say things that make sense to me, please. Okay, please don't gaslight me. Look, they're gonna die. Okay, they're gonna die. That's it. Don't fix it. Um, it's just too much. Shoot, I can't. All right, fine. Let me go ahead and find Dave Rubin and the way he's been talking, and then I'm to show like. But these people, they tweet so much. Like, mm, here you go. He's so hype. From a few years ago, I believe. But do you see the difference how side treats kids? And let me get out of here. Hold on. It's a particular tweet he put in. Uh, the information war. There is almost no sharing of any mainstream media news reports except to mock them or debunk them. Keep going, everyone. You see, yeah, because they are getting debunked. They are getting debunked. We have to. Thank you. We will keep going. We will keep going. At least if I'm going to get thrusted into this war, I'll at least know that I knew the truth the whole time going in. But this, what can I do? I can't stop it, right? But I'm not going to sit here and just blindly be excited about war. Um, hold on. There's a particular one that, yeah, when you find out that France has just banned pro-Palestinian protests, right? And at least Colin Rice says, as much as I abhor these protests in the wake of Hamas terror strikes, I am 100% against banning such protests. Yeah, protests, not terroristic, not riots. You put anybody rioting, put them in jail, get them out of here, right? And this guy, maybe the West has a chance. Why? Because they banned the pro-Palestinian protest? That's not what the West stands for. A chance for what? What is this rhetoric? What is it? Y'all are so weak, man. Like, I'm sorry. Yes, y'all are. Y'all, yeah, I like the First Amendment until you say something I don't like. But like I told y'all, the First Amendment is for speech you don't like. It's for speech you hate. You have to defend it. Because one day they're gonna say that you're saying something that they don't like and they need to get rid of you. Hold on. This guy made a video the other day, and but I'm not sure if he posted it or not. Yeah. No, Samara Khan posted it. She did. And I just was like, oh. I was like, well, okay. I'm not sure if it's still on here. Um, oh, is that her? Is this the liar? Oh, she grew up, huh? There's a particular video I was looking for. And I don't even show y'all the images coming out of Palestine because they are too heartbreaking. They really are. I mean, like this is I mean, now this is real time. I can't. So I'm not sharing that on this channel, but it is a difference in the kind of news you're seeing. Okay, so I don't know if she's posting a lot. I can't. And then of course the thing is like it's stopping on there. But I wanted y'all to hear Jack Posobiec and the way he was talking about this Dearborn, Michigan thing that happened. And it's crazy because of all people, Brian Krasestein had to be the one who made some sense. He's like, yo, Palestinians are going to come together to like comfort each other during these times. That doesn't mean that it's a automatic, Hamas protest. Like we got to be careful with that. Jack Posobiec says deport all of them, but I can't find the video now. So it's so frustrating because when I saw it, I was absolutely appalled. But it's all right because like I'm not gonna be able to find it. It's so wait a minute. Yep, there it is. Right when okay, just a little bit to hear.
Denaturalize and deport. Get used to it because that's what's going to be coming. In this country, we used to denaturalize and strip the citizenship of anarchists and communists that were foreign born, and we sent them back. We sent them back where they belong. Bye-bye. See you later. Arrivederci. All right. How do you say it in Arabic? I don't know. I should know that one. Look, they shouldn't be in our country. This was a fool's errand. Remember all the base Dearborn memes, all the base Dear. Oh yeah. We're gonna replace it with literature that talks about killing the Jews, that talks about being pro-Hamas, that wants to incite terrorist attacks like this. That's what they would rather have in the classrooms when you're putting out stuff like this.
All of a sudden.
Oh, okay. All right. Get them out. Get them out on the first plane. We can take a donation. We can set up a drive on Give, Send, Go to send them back. Literally give, send them back, and go home. We'll give, then we'll send them back, and they can go home.
Where are they gonna go?
It's as simple as that, folks. I don't understand why people don't talk like this anymore. If you're going to go and support something like that, that's fine. You know what? That's great. You go ahead and do that in your home country, in another place, far from our borders, far from our lands, far from the neighborhoods where my children, you're putting up Hamas flags and chanting like this? No, get them all out. Get every single one of them out. And it's simple as that. It's your choice, right? You're here. You won the lucky lottery and you got to come to the United States and then you're going to act like this. No, guess what? This is still the United States of America. And the people of this country have a sacred right as to who is in it and who isn't. And it's as simple as that. It's really as simple as that. And if you don't believe that, guess what? Airplanes right there. Airports right there. It's a big planet. What, 190 plus countries? Pick one. Get out. And I'm sick of this. I'm actually sick of this. And Republicans will go along with it too. They say, oh, it's okay. It's legal immigration. It's legal immigration. Yo, abortion's legal too. Does that make it right? So it's so ridiculous.
Absolutely extraordinary. You see how the collective thinking starts? You know why I call this out? It's because these dummies, these fools don't understand that what they ask for, you don't have to like Palestinians. You don't. Listen, I don't know. I don't know people, man. I deal with people on an individual basis. Okay. Thank you. GR. Yes, don't forget that Hillary wants to put another political party into re-education camps. She's just like that infamous that guy. Yeah. So that's the thing. And so when they talk like this, it's like so you set the precedent for them to treat you the same way. Whoever's the ruling party, they'll treat you the same way. Like you don't get it. Like you don't get it. It's like get them out, get them out. What does that even mean? What did you see the parade of people running in here? Who are you being tough with? The people who are here legally, who are singing songs and coming together. Dig this. I'm not saying that there isn't some coops out here who are seeing this happening and they're already in our country. And yeah, something can happen. I'm also not saying that, you know, it can't be set up that way too. There's a lot of things that can happen. I understand that, but this notion that you just speak so collectively like that. They're putting up the Hamas flag. Well, what's the Hamas flag? The Hamas flag is the Palestinian flag? You sound like 2001. That's what you sound like. And I understood it then. We never saw anything like that before. But everything they did to Muslims back then, they're doing it to J6ers now. They are. And so when we talk like this, you don't understand. You don't get it. Like, you're talking like this, like, or now, get them out because what? Because how they feel, because they're hurting, because they know what's getting ready to happen in Gaza, right? And I'm not. Look, I don't know. I'm not. I'm just saying. But do you think you're a tough guy? Get them out. Get them out. Do you know who owns your country? Okay, like, if you really want to talk about it, do you really want to talk about it? Like, we can't even talk. Like, I'm being censored on YouTube. You have Americans like Nick Fuentes who can't get online, and his name gets brought up as some sort of evil guy, some American who's worried about America. Do you know who runs your country? Do you really know who runs your country? Do you know the special interest groups that run your country? Stop playing. Who has the bread? Who has the paper? Is this really some pattern that I'm supposed to not notice? When you want to call out a bunch of people who went to an auditorium, you think you're a big guy? Wow. Y'all are so weak. Y'all never go to the source. Never. They stop right at the symptom. Nobody ever goes to the source. I'm tired of it. I am. I'm not, again, I will make this disclaimer one last time. We know it's not all of a certain group of people who act a certain way, but please don't tell me this pattern does not exist. Do you know, let me tell you something, if you call a black person the N-word, you'll still have your bank account tomorrow. If you really call a Jewish person, and I'm not trying to make this division as if it's something like to cause some sort of riot, but do you know, if you really start to speak a certain way, if you start to notice the pattern and you talk about it, no bank account for you. Do you know Andrew Torba, the owner of Gab, couldn't get a bank account again for years? They took him out of the banks. Andrew Torba. Why? Because he had a social media site that he allowed people to put whatever they wanted to put on it. And so, of course, you get the kooks who make certain comments or whatever, right? And because he wouldn't take it down, because they try to take everything from that American. And maybe I don't agree with everything he said, but they try to take everything from that American. And he can't. He said it was to the point where even like a small Christian bank was giving him a problem to get an account. What is this? I don't believe in that. I don't believe that if you hold a certain opinion that you can't live your livelihood. I guess you don't have to like me because you don't have to like me because I'm black. I don't believe in forced integration anyway. If somebody tells me they don't like me because I'm black, I'm going to say, thank you for making it easy for me not to talk to you. Thank you for being honest. My affirmations don't come from people. And I don't believe in living in a country that just because you don't like me because I'm black, you can't have a bank account, which would never happen to me. I don't own anything. Black folk don't own anything. And be very clear, they don't. So when you see certain things happen about some race thing, it is not a black person who caused that to happen. We don't own anything. We're not organized enough to own something. And that's just the truth. All right. But the thing, and Lil Bullet, you're right. Maybe they are completely on another planet, but they're not the only. Like, you'll have to elaborate on that comment for me. I understand what you're saying. But you'll have to elaborate on that comment for me, because Then as a Christian, I have to keep it real about, the other religion. So, and I'm not, again, I don't want to single out anything. I don't. Like, in this country, you have a right to practice your religion. Like, like, come on. I would love to convert everybody to Christianity, though. I would. There's a truth there that can't be denied. So let me just, I'm saying. So, so in the end, like, I'm just trying to see. Hold on, let me just check my notifications, because I don't like, I mean, I'm not gonna keep saying that part about it. Just is what it is. Okay. Now, I'm going to share one video with y'all from Jimmy Dore, because this is my thing. No, I'm not making any excuses or justifications for Hamas going into people's houses and tearing them up. But I'm going to say this. As Americans, we don't know what it is to live a certain way. We don't. But I want to share this video from Jimmy Dore, episode where he had Norman Finkelstein on, a Jewish man, explaining the Gaza Strip, because I can't explain it. Like, he spent 40 years studying and debating and talking about the stuff that goes on over there. I can't do it because I don't know. So I'm learning about it now, because here's the thing. I feel like I have a duty. If I'm going to speak on a subject, it's my duty to y'all, the audience, the people who watch me, who I'm grateful for me to keep it all the way real, for me to get as much information on a topic as I can. This topic is an absolute mess. We had no business being involved, but we caused it, though. We did. Americans didn't, like, the citizens didn't cause it, but our establishment, boy, we just don't know when to stop, do we? We just don't know. Hold on.
Show today. We just kind of did a little breakdown of what we woke up to on Saturday. And really, for me, everything changed. I have so much anxiety, I should say, for the future and what's to come of that. But to do so,
and so do I. So anyway, this is 12 minutes long, and I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to play it straight through.
So I thought we should bring in a very special guest today to really give us a great perspective about what's going on. I've been wanting to talk to him for quite some time. Norman Finkelstein is here with us today. Norman Finkelstein is a political scientist and activist whose primary fields of research are the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the politics of the Holocaust. He received his PhD in political science from Princeton University. He has held faculty positions at Brooklyn College, Rutgers University, Hunter College, New York University, and DePaul University, where he was an assistant professor from 2001 to 2007. His books include The Holocaust Industry, Reflections on the Exploitation of Jewish Suffering, Gaza, An Inquest into Its Martyrdom, and most recently, I'll Burn That Bridge When I Get to It, Politically Incorrect Thoughts on Cancel Culture and Academic Freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Norman Finkelstein.
Thank you for having me.
You know what? There's no one else I'd rather have than you today, and I'm so glad you joined us, because I think there's so much confusion to what's going on in Israel, Palestine. If you talk to a lot of people out there who aren't in our political bubble, they really don't have a clue to what's going on. And if you look at our mainstream media, they seem even more lost. I haven't seen one politician or candidate out there who's really spoke up for the rights of the Palestinian people. So, I mean, I wanted you to come here today, not only to talk about solutions and where we are and what's going on, but maybe you can give us a little brief history lesson to bring us up to date to why we are where we're at today. I don't think a lot of people understand how Israel was formed, but maybe you can do that. And please, Professor Finkelstein, I know you've probably had almost every single pushback on every single subject from, well, Jews lived here for quite some time. They had a right to that land. So if you have an opposing view in your mind that you've already pushed back against, please bring in that point of view so we can really get an understanding of why we are where we are at today. Go right ahead.
Well, I want to set forth the basic facts about the situation in Gaza. It's hard to separate it out from the whole history of the Israel-Palestine conflict, but I don't think we have enough time to do the whole history. I want to focus for the moment on what's obviously imminent catastrophe in Gaza. And so I want to focus on that history. Before I get to the history, I want to situate Gaza, the basic facts. Every time you hear the word Gaza, these are the facts that should leap to the forefront of your mind. Number one, 70% of the population of Gaza consists of refugees and descendants of refugees from the 1948 war, in the course of which Israel was created and about 750,000 Palestinians were expelled from the state of Israel. Roughly 290,000 of those 750,000 ended up in Gaza. So the population of Gaza, which now stands at approximately 2.1 million people, 70% of that population are refugees or descendants of refugees. Fact number two, whenever you hear the word Gaza, remember, 1/2 of the population of Gaza consists of children. So whenever you hear these diabolical plans being cooked up by Israel, bear in mind the objects of those plans are 1 million or more children. Fact number three, Gaza is among the most densely populated places on God's earth. It's more densely populated than Tokyo.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Gaza, believe it or not, its dimensions are 5 miles by 25 miles. What does that mean to your average listener? Well, for me, it means that Gaza's width is the circumference of the seashore where I jog every morning. It's 5 miles. Its length is shorter than a marathon. A marathon is 26.2 miles. The whole length of Gaza is 25 miles. That's Gaza. Now, what's the situation in Gaza? It's impossible now for me to trace it back to 1948, when the conflict began, or at least the conflict climaxed in 1948 with the creation of the State of Israel. I'm going to fast forward to 2006. In January 2006, there were parliamentary elections in Gaza and the West Bank. And those elections were urged on Gaza by, among other parties, the United States. Jimmy Carter went to Gaza to monitor the elections. He declared that the elections were honest and fair. As a consequence of those elections, Hamas was elected, or Hamas achieved a majority of votes in the election. Immediately as Hamas came to power in completely honest and fair elections, which were urged upon the people of Gaza by the United States, immediately as Hamas won the elections, Israel imposed a brutal economic blockade on Gaza. That blockade was followed thereafter by sanctions imposed by the United States and the EU. What does that blockade mean in practice? So forgive me for repeating myself. Unless these basic facts are understood, everything that's happened in the past couple of days will be a mystery. So let's bear in mind, we're talking about 1 million children. We're talking about a population that's overwhelmingly refugees. Israel imposed this blockade on Gaza. 1/2 of the population, and this has been consistent since 2006, because I've studied the literature or the human rights reports and the humanitarian reports from 2006 to the present. We're talking about roughly 20 years, 2 decades. And if you look at that period, half the population of Gaza is unemployed. Among the youth, the figures are 60%. If I'm not mistaken, that's the highest unemployment rate of any area in the world. Number 2, nobody, barring the rarest exceptions, nobody can go into Gaza and nobody can leave Gaza. Nobody can go in. Nobody can leave. When you look at those young men who breached the gates of Gaza this past couple of days ago, most of those people, if not all, had never seen anything in their lives except that 5-mile wide by 25-mile long strip of land. This was their first time free. Now, having said that, it's not altogether a surprise that even the UK's Conservative Prime Minister, David Cameron, he described Gaza as, quote, an open-air prison. Now, one of Israel's leading sociologists, he taught at the Hebrew University, he passed away early, before the blockade was imposed on Gaza. That's before 2006. In a book he wrote in 2003, he described Gaza. I'm holding up the book now and I'm reading from page 169. The book is entitled Politicide, Ariel Sharon's War Against the Palestinians. And Baruch Kimmerling, who's the author, he describes Gaza as the largest concentration camp ever to exist. The largest concentration camp ever to exist. So, the bottom line is that the population of Gaza has been trapped. And in half the cases, believe it or not, they were born into a concentration camp. From their birth, to their childhood, to their youth, to their adulthood. The only thing they've experienced is a concentration camp. Currently, half the population is classified by international humanitarian organizations. It's classified as suffering from, quote, severe food insecurity.
Hey, come see us on
So I'm gonna take it out now. Metalopoly, you should have just came in from the beginning. So listen, this is not everything does not have to always be an excuse or a justification. And this is the part that I really want people to understand. But we need to know if we're going to talk about this, we need to talk about the whole thing so it doesn't happen again. What this Jewish man was explaining, a man who has studied Gaza and been, talked about it, lectures everything for 40 years, is explaining the kind of situation down there that ends up getting catastrophes like we saw on Saturday. Situations, too, by the way, situations that America has been involved in creating. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree. There does not need to be a justification, but I need people to understand that there is a starting point to things. And if we do not recognize it, we will constantly be in the same position over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Something brings this about. It doesn't make it right. It does not make it right. Okay? I'm not saying it makes it right. But what I'm saying is this man just explained to you basically a situation where people are living in a place that's no bigger than 3-4 blocks, I guess, of the ghetto. The ghettos in Philadelphia are way better than what I hear going on in Gaza. People who've never left that area, a 5 to 25 mile like radius, to call it like a space, and they've been born in there. They've been born in there, right? And then they've never been, I don't know that kind of living. And it's not like it's this beautiful living where they're eating and they're doing good. What I'm saying is we are creating very angry people, rageful people. I'm giving you a reaction, a cause to a reaction. It's not something that you have to agree with, but it's something that I've seen the face of in Haiti. When I went down, the last time I went down to Haiti, and I saw these hungry people who were hysterical in the streets, hungry. They didn't have anything, being beat down by their own government. The corruption that's down there. And one of them looked me in the eye and said, "You're not," because they were in the streets rioting. And they said, "You're not passing. You're not coming through. And if you don't get out of here, I'm going to end you right now." And I'm like, let's just get out of here, right? But I seen what was in his eyes. I've never felt that way before. This is why, number one, when I came back from Haiti in 2019, I was like, I pledge allegiance to the flag of America. Like all of that leftist type of thinking was just flushed out of my eyes. I was like, insane. Like we do not know the mindset of people who go through that kind of struggle, that kind of beaten down, just terrible, like grind every day, every day, every day. No, it's not an excuse, but it's a reality that we need to start talking about. We need to start being aware of, because the problem is that American establishment creates this a lot of places. And at home, we have our own issues, but we've opened the door to a lot of people who are very mad at Americans. And I mean, like, we need to know. We need to know that there's a situation that this thing is messy. We had no business being involved in it. It's just messy. But I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna just talk about it and act like I don't know where it came from. Well, I know where it came from. Doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. No, they don't. If you saying that, like you need to, like you saying so. So Casey, Palestinians get billions in aid from international community, including Israel. That Jewish man was biased and not telling the full story. Somebody who's been trying to fight. We can't close our eyes to this. Like we cannot. We can't do it. We can't. I've seen images that come out of there. I don't want to share them on this channel, but it's true. It's true. It's sad. I don't want to believe it to be true. I'm not saying it's right what they did, but it's true. You know? So, and if you're saying he's biased and not telling the full story, so he's If I show you the second half of the video, you'll understand. He's saying, he's like, yo, even he's like, finally, I just had to give up on it. And I felt bad for giving up. Why would he sit there and do like, come on? And it's not one. I knew somebody was gonna say that though. It's not. I'm not gonna bring you any kind of story or explanation or anything that I don't know to be true myself. Like I've seen the images, I've talked to people. It's sad to think about. It is, but corruption is everywhere. And it's just simply the reality. It is. Corruption is everywhere. But back home, we have our own corruption. So to bring it all back full circle, we could choose not to believe things if we, you know what I mean? Like, listen, hey, whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Whatever's happening over there, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to agree with me. You don't. I'll say this much. I'm not here to convince. I'm here to show you some facts. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to show you some facts. But when there's, so if I would have showed you the second part of it, you would have understood that too. Like, but listen, it is what it is, right? Hey, they're just terrorists. They're just, you know what I mean? Look, it is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. So there's so much to this story. But again, we can't, I'm not going to cover it here because I'm not here to necessarily convince anybody about what's going on in Palestine. Okay? I'm here to wake people up to the fact that they keep connecting the word Iran with this situation. They've wanted that Iran war for a long time. This is why Trump is in some sort of situations about declassified documents. They wanted Trump to bomb Iran from way back, and he said no. They've wanted this Iran war. You keep hearing Iran get connected to this, to what happened on Saturday. I'm not saying Iran is innocent, but I'm not saying that we need to go running into a war with Iran. Just like Tucker Carlson said the same thing too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm laughing at that little chick. I had a Nancy mad at me too today. Like, yeah, like, I don't know, you know, but yeah, so we, you know, no, I know you're not mad. Come on, we're still friends. Of course, Metalopoly. I know you're not mad. There was a Nancy on Twitter that was mad at me. No. We're still friends. No, I'm not gonna not. Come on, I live in America. We all need to come together right now because they're going to thrust us into some. It's already happening. Like it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Ron DeSantis was out there with the bullhorn. He was like, it is a false connection, Bozette. Matter of fact, let me just share a little bit with Ron DeSantis because, and I shared this already before on my one stream that I did the other day. But it's just, I was just like, golly, like he was like, yeah, boy, this is it. I can't wait to, you know. Mm. Well, by the way, while all of this is going on, Dylan Mulvaney just named Woman of the Year. It's just insane, you know. It's just insane. Some I had to repost it. Some God help us, please. I'm sorry. It was in response to like, it's not funny to Ben Shapiro in one of his brutal tweet pictures that he was showing. That I think this person was just like, it's just too much. And it's just, hello, God, we need your help down here. The world has gone mad. It's not fun. But please hear and answer our prayers. Thank you, God. Amen. Yeah, no, seriously. I could not believe it. You know, I couldn't believe it. Hold on. It's my homie Preston. He be trying to, you know, I mean, he just wants to talk about peace. He's a Jewish kid. He wants to talk about peace. You know, he really speaks out on a lot of things, and I think that's really good because he's a young guy trying to figure it out. And guys, we needed this too on Saturday. Naked pictures of Joe Biden's brother had just showed up on some gay website. Like, come on. I was like, what? Like, and people are like, that's fake. Are like, you know, like that didn't happen or something. I think he didn't even deny that was it, but they're from like 2018. Like, it's just too much. Honest to God. Hold on. I just want to show you the DeSantis who couldn't. Oh, by the way, this is Eric Adams. I'm telling you, man, the we being invaded and
we believe the borders should remain open.
Oh.
That's the official position.
They should remain open. So are they open or not? Because Democrats will tell you we have a secure border. This guy said they should remain open. Which one is it? Just insane. Hold on. And I'm gonna get to here he is with the bullhorn. You know what I mean?
I just want to say that today America stands with Israel against the terrorist attack that is being perpetrated by Hamas, who is backed by Iran and unfortunately funded by this American president with what he's done to Iran. It's a disgrace.
He don't even know how to what he's done to Iran, not for Iran. He's so excited he can't even get the words.
And we all need to be united to say to Israel, not only do they have a right to defend themselves,
And they do.
They have a duty to respond to these terrorists with overwhelming force. And they'll have my support 100% as the next president of the United States.
And then the SEALs, they
just wanna
clap. They
say-
clap. You know, y'all don't understand what 100% is. 100% is not, all right, we're going to throw them a couple dollars and then, you know what I mean, we just, you know what I mean, sit back and just, no, 100% is we are in it. We're going to send everything and all our people too. Don't sleep. DeSantis will send. DeSantis said he's going to go into every third world country and end anti-Semitism. He said that. What does that mean? Like, what? Okay, like what? No, yeah, I'm going to laugh at that. You know, but here you go again. Just run real quick.
Israel is now under attack. I stand with Israel. America stands with Israel. Not only do they have a right to defend themselves, they have a duty to defend themselves against these Iranian-backed Hamas terrorists.
You see the connection that they keep making, the Iranian-backed Hamas terrorists. I'm not saying Iran's never given Hamas money. I'm sure they have. They have no evidence to prove it that they were involved with this attack right now, this time. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that does not justify or exclude Iran from whatever they've done in the past. But they want this Iran war so bad. But you know what's so crazy? I called that last year. There's a video somewhere in my catalog where I was like, get ready to start hearing stuff about Iran. Iran is about to be a problem. Because when Iran and Saudi Arabia came together and did that rapprochement for BRICS, I was like, that we about to have problems with Iran. Iran is about to be a problem. Here we are today. They keep saying Iran. I'm not saying again that Iran is sweet and innocent, but the Middle East and Russia and everything, they're coming together. You think that these people like seeing that? No, of course there was always going to be turmoil.
Iran has helped fund this war against Israel.
Without knowing, he says this.
And Joe Biden's policies that have gone easy on Iran has helped to fill their coffers. Israel is now paying the price for those policies. We're going to stand with the state of Israel. They need to root out Hamas, and we need to stand up to Iran.
We need to stand up to Iran. What America got to do with just like, and Tucker, he made that point. He said it like in his other, matter of fact, let me go find it. All right, we'll end off with this. We are going to make it, you know, we're going to definitely end off with America first for sure, because that's the whole point. We can all feel how we want about how it started or didn't start. I really hate when Twitter acts up like this. We can all feel about how we feel about these things, how they started, how they didn't start. But the fact is, at the end of the day, where do we stand in it? You know? And that's where we still come together and say, all right, now that's enough now. Now that's enough. Yeah, let's just bring up Tucker one real quick. This is from yesterday. This is
no
what got everybody
decent
worked
person can watch the video of young people being murdered at a music festival in southern Israel without feeling horrified. It's awful, and there's no excusing it. No matter what you think of Israel's policies in Gaza, you are not allowed to shoot people at music festivals. That's a crime. Israel has a right to respond to that crime and to defend itself. No one seriously contests that. The question for American policymakers, however, is what do we do next? How do we represent the interests of the United States in this chaotic moment? That's not a selfish question. It's the whole point of making policy for a country, to improve and protect that country.
It's not
if
a selfish
you serve in the
question.
U.S. Congress or in the executive branch of government, you have a moral duty to think this way. It's your job. You serve the United States and its population. You have no moral authority except to the extent that you represent your fellow Americans. That's our system. It used to be obvious, but it's worth remembering now, because the conflict between Israel and Hamas could escalate into a war between Iran and its allies and the West. Once a war like that starts, you could easily imagine the use of nuclear weapons and all that entails. Millions dead, the collapse of the global economy. At the very least, you could see an unprecedented energy crisis here. Already, gas in one Bay Area service station hit $7.29 a gallon over the weekend. If that trend worsens and persists, the United States, which is already, technically speaking, bankrupt, would plunge into depression. And no, it would not be like the 1930s. Close to 10 million people have come here over the last 3 years from the poorest places in the world. The overwhelming majority of them are on some form of federal subsidies. You wonder how that's going to work out when the U.S. government runs out of money.
And did you hear that real quick, though? These people that come in, they come running and they say, hey, we got here. Yeah. Now give me the money. And they really give them the money. They give them the money. But all this, like, look, I'm not into taking government money. I don't want government money. But I know a veteran that needs that government money. I know Americans who could use that money.
So there's a lot at stake in how we encourage Israel to respond to the horrifying Hamas attacks. Wisdom and long-term thinking are essential, but you will not be surprised to learn that is not what we are getting. Watch this person, for example, who happens to be the media's pick for President of the United States.
This is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on America because they hate us just as much. And what we have to understand is this is the reason that we have to unite around making sure our enemies do not hurt our friends. America can never be so arrogant to think we don't need friends, just like we needed them on 9/11. That's why Ukraine needs us when Russia's doing this. That's why Israel needs us when Hamas and Iran are doing this. And I'll say this to Prime Minister Netanyahu, finish them. Finish them. Hamas did this. You know Iran's behind it. Finish them. They should have hell to pay for what they've just done.
This was an attack on America, she says, when in fact it was not. And for that reason, we must, quote, finish Iran, a nation of nearly 90 million people. What are we watching here? This is not sober leadership. She's a child, and this is the tantrum of a child, ignorant, cocksure, bloodthirsty. Yet no one in Washington scolded her for it. In fact, they aped her hysteria. Here's fellow neocon Lindsey Graham just spelling it out and calling for the bombing of Iran.
So I've been on the phone all day to the Mideast, and I've told our allies and people with connections to Iran, what I would do, I would tell Iran that if Hezbollah attacks Israel, we're going to come after you, the Iranians, and have a coordinated effort between the United States and Israel to put Iran out of the oil business by destroying their refineries.
Yo, man, these people, they tell you what they think. First of all, Hezbollah is not ran by Iran, right? Like, it's ran by Lebanon. Like, these people, they just don't care. They throw a bunch of names together and try to make fake connections. They're like, well, the people, they don't know what I'm saying. They don't know that. Anything to go to war.
There are 4 major refineries in Iran. They're fixed targets.
He wants the oil.
If Hezbollah attacks Israel, I would make Iran pay a heavy price.
What exactly would happen to the United States if we declared war on Iran and started blowing up their infrastructure? Lindsey Graham has no clue what would happen. He hasn't thought it through. He's almost 70 years old and he has no children. He doesn't care. But neither, amazingly, do most of his colleagues in Washington. They're as reckless as he is. Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw took to social media to call for what he described as a war to end all wars, as if there is such a thing. But of course, there isn't such a thing. Wars beget more war. The bigger the conflict, the uglier and longer lasting the consequences. See World War I for details. These are not complex observations, but they seem lost on our leadership class. Alone among candidates running for the Republican nomination for president, Vivek Ramaswamy dared to suggest that actually going to war with Iran might not be in America's national interest. And for saying that, Mike Pence immediately denounced him as gutless and unpatriotic or something. But we thought it might be worth hearing more. Vivek Ramaswamy joins us now.
I'm not going to get into
Vivek, thanks
the
so
whole...
much for coming on. So if I'm reading this correctly, you suggested, while offering what seemed like real sympathy to the Israeli people, the many murdered there 2 days ago, you noted that maybe it's not in America's best long-term interest to declare war on Iran. Is that what you said?
I actually said this long before this crisis when people were thinking clear-headedly. And I just want to say a couple of things that are...
All right, so he did. Yeah, like, all right, we know that's his position or whatever. And because I'm not staying stuck on the part with Vivek Ramaswamy, who, is about as close to as he can saying what he needs to say. Let's just go ahead and, Let me just go ahead. I'm gonna go to the chat real quick, and then we're gonna start wrapping this up. But what's up, Ray? I'm going to come on your show. I know it is gonna eventually happen. I just ended one contract. I'm trying to get into a more chill contract for work, so we could start getting this thing popping. Because, like, I got to start getting back to the I have to, start getting back to getting my own website going and everything, because eventually, but before the election, I know it's going to happen. Like, I know, like, my channel's not the biggest channel, but it doesn't matter. I told you, it doesn't even matter about that. Like, I almost lost this channel at 67 subscribers, so it doesn't matter, like, at all. Like, okay, yeah, so yeah, like I was saying, it's a matter of who. What is this? WHO is Israel? Yeah. That is true, little bullet. And for real, just real quick, like, there's this thing that Christians do. It's like, oh, we got to protect Israel. It's like, listen, man, I want to protect innocent people. I do. You don't. As a Christian, I want to show you the light of Jesus. I do. I want to be the best I can be as a Christian and show you the light of Jesus, and have compassion. Of course, I don't want to see people get hurt. I do want to protect people because I want to protect people and show them that God is good, right? But this notion that I have to protect the state of Israel because I'm Christian, absolutely incorrect. And I suggest everybody get back to their Bibles. Now, Nikki Haley does make me sick too. And then you asked Metalopoly that, okay, so what are your thoughts about Egypt warning the IDF about the attack and being ignored? But thank you for asking the question. And but guess what, Metalopoly? Now you're an anti-Semite now for saying. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's because those are the things that I'm saying, and people are getting mad, like, and when I say I'm just telling you about my personal experience with that, right? But it's like, people are saying you have a right to ask a question. And you know how I feel about that? I'm gonna keep it real because I've seen it done here. Sometimes you let a thing happen because you need a war. It happened in 9/11. What came out of 9/11? The Patriot Act, and we went to Iraq, right? And they knew they had intelligence. They knew. Ron Paul talked about it years ago. He was like, what's the point of all these agencies if we know that if FBI and CIA knew 9/11 was going to happen and nothing was done about it? So if I know that happens here, why can't I believe that didn't happen over there? Now all of a sudden I'm morally bad for saying that. Oh, why would they want to kill their own? We kill our own here. It's called casualties of war. People better respect it, yo, man. These leaders, like, I'm not. I won't live in that delusion. Now, do I know for sure that they let it happen? Of course, I don't know for sure. I'm just telling you my thought that there's a possibility that they probably might have, could have, did. The same way, like, I seen this insanity happen with COVID. Come on now, no. So. Metalopoly says, as a Christian, there's actually going to be a word in our word. Apocalypse, Euphrates River, and Gog and Magog army will march over already. Yeah, the Euphrates River is drying up. And it's funny that you say that because tomorrow I'm a 7 days Adventist, and amazing facts. They're going to actually talk about the prolific Magog and Gog situation or whatever. So I have to watch that live and see what they have to say about it. Because last part too, just real quick though, there's a lot of spiritual like stuff going on. And no, it's not the holy war that Lindsey Graham is saying that we are fighting a religious war. And this is a holy war for Jesus that we're like, I don't know what Lindsey Graham was saying. I'm like, bro, you want the oil, bro. Like, stop it, man. Don't gaslight me. All right? Like, please. But it is. I've been caught by the way, and it's all connected. The Ukraine war and what we're seeing today, it's all connected. And I've been calling this for a long time. I feel it. I know it's all connected, but that's for another live. I think I'm gonna do another spiritual war live that like I did one last year the beginning of this year about the Ukraine war and like how the churches were being burned and everything else. So I think I'm going to do another one on a more spiritual aspect, but I want to end with this. In the end, you see that we are sending our ship, we see fighter jets and everything over to Israel to, just to be on standby. We're being invaded at the southern border. Our army should be down there. No, it's it's not it, it, it's it's not because wait, what was I gonna say? It- uh I'm not saying to send military people out on people who have book bags and purses and stuff. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that it should have been under control in a sense. But I kind of had Trump had it under control. He told Mexico like, "Yo, make sure they don't come in here, or else I'm not gonna give you this aid, or I'm gonna do that, whatever." And then Mexico would put their troops at their border. You know, but we don't. Nothing is. These people are running in. They're running in. You know, and they're running in, and the fact is, we're being invaded. And I'm gonna keep it all the way real as a Haitian, like as a Haitian descent. I told you, America first. It's about maybe 1 year you'll be arrested by somebody who doesn't speak English. I mean, come on. They give them jobs and everything. They won't speak English. They barely speak English. They tell them to, like, let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. Take care of your families, get a financial plan going. They're going to send us to war. We already have the inflation happening from the Ukraine war and everything else. So get yourself together, your families. Like I said, get a financial plan, think ahead. Think ahead for sure. 2024 is going to be hot and heavy. These people, they don't care. They don't have to deal with the consequences of the mess that they cause. We do. So we have to be prepared. Get your protection. Do what you have to do. And first and foremost, I know for me is pray to God. Ask God for strength. Connect to your creator. It's not about religion. Connect to your creator. Okay? Because it's gonna get wild. It is gonna get wild. But we're gonna be okay, because when you know better, you do better. When you're informed, you do better. I'm not gonna leave us on this like gloomy note, like, oh, everything's gonna burn around us. Like, we know better, we do better. We know each other. We have a network here. I mean, we come together and we talk, and I'm glad that I'm able to come here and vent and talk to you, and be understood that I want the best for all people, but I have to speak about everything and ask questions. That's how we learn. I still believe that I live in the best country in the world. I do. But we have to be able to talk about everything if we want to keep it that way, or fight for it in any fashion, about everything. So at the end of the day, I'm about to wrap it up. So thank you guys for coming through. And just look out, like, I don't know how many more of my I don't know how many. Yeah, everybody just kind of be careful about, and calling for that day, there's a kook anywhere, so everybody just be a little extra vigilant and careful. Our borders have been wide open. We have a weak establishment, administration. I hope everybody who called Ashley. Oh yeah, watch the replay, Ashley. But I hope everybody who used to call Trump his xenophobic and all that stuff. Like, I wonder if those people thinking about it today. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I am, and I'm not. I voted for him in 2020. But I wonder if they people really thought that they. But anyway, I don't really believe that the election was real. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But about to wrap it up, guys. Thank you again for coming through. It's good to talk. Bosette is too much. It's good to talk. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Thank you again for coming, everybody. All right. Bye.